Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Hailey, and on this channel we do a bunch of faith-based, uni life, day in the life content. And today we are doing a very long-awaited Q&A. So I have a total of 12 questions that my friends have curated for me, and thank you so much for the ones who have sent in questions. They are actually quite well thought out questions, but we'll start with the ones that are more fun and lighthearted, and we'll go into the ones that are a little more philosophical or theological. First question, what is my biggest ick? Okay, so if we're saying like just normal icks, I think it is definitely wet socks. So since being in the UK, I realized that it rains a lot, okay? And so when my socks get wet, okay, side tangent, I do not wear shoes at the gym, as in I will take my shoes off and wear socks when doing my workout. Okay, only because I just feel like my foot placement is better that way. So when it rains and I'm walking to the gym and my socks are wet, I tend to then not want to take off my shoes because wet socks make your feet stink and they're also very uncomfortable. So I'd say my biggest ick is wet socks. But like, I think if we're going past like small icks, one other ick that I found out that I had was kind of being fake. And I mean that in a sense of like, okay, so basically, in a sense of being fake, I mean like in friendships. So what I mean by that is that there's nothing wrong with being kind. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be nice to people. But I think there is wisdom in not making people feel like they're extremely close to you just to find out that they aren't. Because at the end of the day, that ends up hurting them more than you just straight up not acting all bestie with them. And I kind of realized that, especially when coming to uni, is that you will have friends that you're not as close to, and that is totally okay. But it should be a mutual understanding so that no feelings get hurt. That's just a personal thing that I've noticed. But if you guys are asking for icks I have in relationships, or specifically towards men, because whenever we talk about icks, we're talking about men, okay? But I think an ick that I have towards men is definitely when a man has a lot of really close female friends. Okay, now this is maybe controversial, but I think that having boundaries is wisdom. Okay, I think that if either a female or a man has way too many friends of the opposite gender with a lack of boundaries, that is a red flag. That's probably also one of my main icks. But okay, there you go. You have 3 icks that I have. Okay, question number 2 is, what are you most grateful for? So I've written down a couple of things. Number 1 is the Lord. So I feel like if I did not have God, I probably would have not been here. Okay? As in, I would not have gotten through everything that I have, family-wise, friends-wise, and relationship or personal insecurity-wise. So number 1 will definitely be the Lord. Second of all would be my family, my friends, and my boyfriend. So obviously, you only have one family, and I am so glad that I have been born into or been blessed with parents that love me so much, and a younger brother that also loves me from the moon and back, okay? And so next is friends and boyfriend, which I just mentioned. And I think that after coming to uni, I really realized that having friends that pray over you are very important. And also my friends from back at home, they're extremely loyal. They've been with me up and down, through roller coasters, through times of need, and haven't really left my side. So definitely that. Apart from all the relationships that I have, I think also being able to study abroad and being able to study something that I love is something I'm very grateful for. Not everyone is able to go abroad. It's not the cheapest thing ever being an international student, so I'm extremely grateful that I'm able to come out and kind of see the world. And finally, having a church family that supports me. So after coming to the UK, I've settled into a church in Liverpool, and everyone there is genuinely so supportive. When you need something, they will try and practically help you, right? And also spiritually help you by praying for you. So you could text your home group, right? And be like, hey, I'm stressing about this is happening. They will try and find ways to practically help you and also pray for you, because they are aware that needs have to be met, right? And on top of that, they will pray for you. So having such a supportive church family is something that I'm also extremely, extremely grateful for. The third question is, what is it like being an international student? Okay, now being an international student is many things. It is scary and also exciting at the same time. So when first coming, I think I was extremely nervous. It was right after COVID. The last time I flew was to France and Japan for my grad trip, and flying to the UK was a lot different because I knew that I was leaving home, so I was extremely scared. Maybe scared is not the right word. I was extremely nervous. I was nerve-wracked because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I'm not the type of person to like surprises, okay? But I also really just wanted to fit in. I mean, I was in a flat with all girls, and I kind of realized that I just really wanted them to like me at first. I think during the first year, and they're amazing girls, by the way, like as in like they've been extremely supportive. They're there for me all the time when I want to chat. They are great. I live with them this year. But I think during the first year, I really, really wanted to fit in. So whatever they do, I try to get involved. And I think that I let some of my own values go a little loose because I wanted to fit in so badly. But I think also being an international student, you realize that you have to be okay with being different. Yeah, more of that in a bit. Finally, is finding your people. I think as an international student, I've really had to find my people, find the people that I like being around, find the people that are similar to me or different to me, but are able to embrace our differences. But yeah, I think that is also a very big thing, is to find your people. The fourth question is a little similar to the third question, so this is the reason why I put them together. It is adjusting to the UK as an international student. What is it like? Okay, so when coming here to the UK, I grew up in Hong Kong, okay, and everyone in Hong Kong is international. So we have Australian accents, we have British accents, we have American accents, we have Chinese accents, we have pretty much every accent under the sun. Coming here, I thought that it would be the same. I was so utterly wrong, okay? Everyone here has some sort of a British accent, whether that is from Manny, whether it's a London accent, they all just have a British accent. So I think I realized that I just sounded very different, and I was called American so many times. It's got to a point where people have just kind of been like, oh, it's not even, are you American anymore? It's, oh, are you from Cali? Just like, oh, damn. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I love America. Live, love, laugh, America. But, yeah, I didn't really expect that coming here. Another thing was learning to prep everything like a week or a month prior. So that means food, clothes, money, etc. So being here as an international student, you are far from your family, which means when you need money from them, it takes time. When you need certain things, it takes time. So being able to plan has been absolutely crucial since coming here. And last but not least, it is navigating British culture. Okay, hear me out. These things happen everywhere around the world, but especially in the UK, I've seen that drinking and pub culture is huge, okay? And I grew up in a more clubbing culture, I guess, in Hong Kong. So sometimes it's not even the actual drinking that people enjoy. It is the hype, clubbing, dancing vibe that you get. But then here, it's genuinely people enjoy a drink, right? And personally, I don't drink anymore. So that was something that I had to navigate. And another thing is Hinge culture. For the ones who don't know what Hinge is, bless you, okay? Keep it that way. But the ones who know, I think I was just so shocked that dating apps were such a big thing and that everyone was kind of on it. So back at home, I think people are also on dating apps, but just not as much because everyone kind of knows everyone already, and Instagram and Snapchat ends up becoming our dating apps. Or at least when you go out, you'll meet someone in some other friend group and you'll end up bonding that way. So coming to the UK, I didn't realize that there were so many people trying to find love on apps, Okay, so I think those are the couple things that I had to navigate through when being an international student in the UK. Now, the fifth question is, what is my favorite things about uni life or uni in general? Now, okay, being in uni is great because you're able to choose what you want in life. So that means freedom. Okay? Freedom away from the parents, freedom away from people that you know and people that you've grown up with your entire life. So I think coming here to uni, I've genuinely been able to branch out and choose to actually be Christian and live out that life. I think being at home, I was very lukewarm in the sense of, oh yeah, I'm Christian, but everyone else has seen me act this way already, so why change now? And being away from my parents, I realized that I had to make a choice as to whether or not I want to go to church, whether or not I want to act a certain way, because no one's telling me what to do at this point. So I had to actually choose that. On top of that was being able to choose friends. Since my parents are, I want to say judgmental, but like not in a bad way, they will sometimes judge the people that I'm around or the people that I bring home as my friends. And so being able to choose my friends, make the wrong and right decisions in choosing friends over first and second year, I think is a great way to kind of grow as a human being. But yeah, having these like social relationships that you're able to choose in uni is also, yeah, a very big step or a very big difference. So on top of that freedom and independence, in uni you're able to actually study what you love. So I love writing. I love history. I love being able to look at the law, procedures, what's in act, criminology, crime rates, etc., etc. And so coming here to uni, I was just so happy to be able to do every single thing that I love, and every module that I took was something that I loved or was able to find something to love about it. But I think most of all, I am so happy that I'm not doing math anymore. Wow. Okay, I want to say I suck at math. Yeah, I suck at math. You know what? It's okay. People are good at different things. I am bad at math. Okay, and that's not like a subjective thing. Okay, I know that Chinese people are deemed to be good at math. I'm not good at math. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I'm not built that way. My brain's not built that way. So I am so glad that we are done. So the next question is, if you could change something in the world, what would it be? So the simple answer would be to make everyone Christian, and so that everyone can see the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Okay, but I mean, if we're going a little nicher, it would be to eat and not gain weight. Okay, I know that's very gluttonous of me. Okay, but like, imagine nothing had calories. Imagine I could just eat and enjoy the flavors. You know, that's something that I would love to change about the world, but that is not happening anytime soon. So that is the reason why we gym. The seventh question is a little more fuller, a little more broad and deeper, and it is, what is my best piece of advice? Now, my best piece of advice I could give you coming out of my 19 years of existence is to go to the Lord for everything. I think that people need to realize that there is an end day to absolutely everything. And even though you don't want to admit it or you don't really want to think about it, it is something that is inevitable. And I think something that people need to stop mistaking is that just because you are young, you are not immune to death. Now that sounds crazy to say in a YouTube video, but that's true. And excusing yourself and trying to avoid thinking about death or the bigger picture of life, just because it makes you feel uncomfortable, like, I'm sorry to say, is not a good excuse. And y'all give me a second because I'll have to pull up the Bible for this. In Genesis 3:19 it says, "By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return." And I think this shows that death is imminent and we're all going to have to go through it, and it's just a little shallow as a human being to not use your critical thinking skills to think about the bigger picture of life itself. Because another part of the Bible in Philippians, it says, "Therefore God has highly exalted him and bestowed on him the name that is above every name, so that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father." Now, as a non-Christian, you might look at this and be like, you just took a scripture out of a Christian book. I'm not Christian, this doesn't apply to me. That's fine, I understand that. But as a human being, as I mentioned, you have critical thinking skills. And we do most of the times look at philosophical questions that involve humanity or the bigger picture of humanity. Now, this big picture of humanity includes your benefits. So, shouldn't you really take some time to think about that? Now, to take a break from these big and broad questions, let's do a chill one. The 8th question is, what's the craziest or weirdest outfit you have ever worn? So, for the ones who know me, know that I like to dress up or to dress up as characters that I love. So, I have done Shrek, Peppa Pig, and dinosaurs twice. So, here are some pictures. Enjoy. Now, let me explain myself a little bit. So these 2 pictures of me as Shrek and me as Peppa Pig are from something called Book Week back in secondary school. So you had to dress up as a book character. And we had like a collection of Shrek books and a collection of Peppa Pig books. So I was like, why not do both? And I wanted to be bald both years. So that's the reason why I did that. And I dressed up as a blue dinosaur because the University of Liverpool's color is royal blue. And one of my friends were playing in a hockey game, so I wore that blue dinosaur outfit to support her. Now, the other dinosaur outfit I wore for fun. That's just, I can't explain that one. That one just, I wanted to. Okay, moving on. The next question is whether or not I have advice on being a Christian at uni. Now, I have a couple of tips or tricks or advices about this. So the first one is that you really have to choose God. The Lord is not going to shove himself down your throat, okay? We have something called freedom, okay, and willpower. We can use that however we would like, okay? But you have to choose to have a relationship with God. Your parents aren't here to tell you to go to church anymore, so it is your choice to go to church. It is your choice to choose what to do on your Saturday nights before church. It is up to you what you want to do and how you want to live your life. So being a Christian is very much choosing Jesus every day. The second thing is to learn to fear God over fearing man. Now, we are back in the Bible. Proverbs 1 verse 7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction." Now, for people who don't know or understand what the fear of the Lord is, it is not terror, okay? It is respect, submitting to him. So it's acknowledging that he created us and that the reason why he has certain rules for us is not because he's trying to be extremely strict, but it's the fact that it benefits us. So you sleeping with 100 men, okay? That hurts you and that hurts the men involved. And that also stops your chances from actually having a happy marriage because you have been involved with so many people. And on top of that, I think that is shown in psychological studies or sociological data. And so studying criminology, I also see how these data are just repeated year and year and time again over decades, but people aren't going to the root cause of it because it is too offensive or it's too true, I guess. And all of this is covered in the Bible, and these rules exist to benefit us, not because God hates us and wants us to live a certain way, which is miserable. So back to my main point, God-fearing and not man-fearing. So you have to understand that you only have an audience of one. Your values and what you do in life should only please God. Stop trying to please man. You are never going to fully please people. And that's something that I've learned, definitely, being a Christian here at uni. The next thing is to be around people who are on fire for the Lord. I've heard this a lot at my church, but if you are around people who are on fire for God, they will catch you on fire. And you need these people to walk with you through this narrow path. And so choosing to be around people who are just so on fire and not lukewarm at all or cold or part of the world. You can be in the world, but not part of it. And so being around those people that are able to be kind of like your support system and your family away from home is extremely, extremely helpful and useful. Finally, it is to surrender everything to God. Now, that means academics, family, and finances. Now, all of these three things have been idols in my life. So, being Chinese, culturally, academics are like number one because you're trying to please the parents, right? And then in that, you're also trying to get rich. So, those three things have all been idols in my life. And you have to understand, being far away from home, you cannot control everything. You cannot control the way finances work. You cannot control the way or how your family or what happens to your family when you're away from them. And academics, you don't want that to overtake your entire life. So I think really, really learning to surrender things to God at the feet of the cross and not choosing to pick them back up is something that is extremely, extremely important. Okay, guys, we took a little recording break and we are back with question number 10, and that is, do I have any meal prepping tips? Now, I started meal prepping in semester 2 of year 1. That is because in semester 1, I realized that I was ordering in a lot. So Deliveroo was really seeing my name every other day. And doesn't matter if it was Jollibee, doesn't matter if it was McDonald's, doesn't matter if it was a Chinese takeaway. I was just ordering in like absolutely crazy. Every craving that I had, every dessert craving that I had, it would be seeing me. So I think in semester 2, I realized that that was really not financially responsible of me, and nor was that healthy. And so I think what you really have to do is plan. You have to have a notes section of what you know how to cook, what is quick to cook, and really, really get started before the week. So usually I prep my meals on Sundays because after church lunch, I'm kind of free for the whole day since I kind of treat Sundays as my rest days. And so I will cook for the entire week, and usually, sorry, just had to grab my notes app. Usually I would have 2 choices of a main meal and 2 choices of breakfast, and basically have healthy snacks. That means fruits, carrots, cucumbers, or protein bars. Next thing is to make one pot dishes. Now, being Chinese, a rice cooker is a must in my household. So when I cook meals like rice and chicken, I can literally just cook them together in one singular pot, and that gives me a meal for 2 to 3 days. Obviously, if you are not Chinese or if you do not own a rice cooker, an oven is also a great idea. Semester 2 of year 1, I did a lot of pasta dishes. So that means I would just put all the vegetables into one pan, chuck it in the oven, take it out, mix it with pasta sauce, and that would be a dinner. So I would choose a protein every day. If I want to swap it up, have it with salmon, have it with chicken, but I would have the main carb and all the nutrients that I need in that one dish. Apart from rice cookers, I think that people should really invest in big glass containers. So what I do is that I store cooked proteins in one container, I store veggies in another, and carbs in another. And that kind of just makes my life so much easier, because instead of having to have multiple small glass containers of food, unless obviously you're taking it to uni and it's lunch, that's fine too, because I do that sometimes as well. But for dinner, you could just scoop it out, put it on a plate, and heat it in the microwave. Because when you have everything separate in like small containers, they take up a lot of fridge space. And especially for uni students, I feel like we don't all have humongous fridges. So I think that having big containers to store the main parts of your meal is a really good meal prep tip. Okay, for the next question, I'm not even going to read it. Okay, you guys can just, it's right there. Yeah. When I saw that question, I was also like, oh, do you really want me to answer this and air out your business? But I think I have probably a better way of answering this question. Obviously, the person who wrote this question, if you would like to contact me personally and want to hear my input on your personal situation, let me know. But all in all, I think that we should really trust that God has something prepared for us. Even for people who are not a Christian, when you focus on something that truly matters, the right person will be attracted to you. And I just feel like even if you want to feel loved or you want to feel attention, like I've been there multiple times in my life, just don't run to the wrong short-term solutions. So don't run to a quick sex buddy. Don't run to a, someone that you probably would not pick if you were not in this very needy situation. Really, really look at the situations that you're putting yourself in, right? And ask yourself, in 2 months' time, would I hate myself for doing this? And I just feel like, this is probably a little harsh, but speaking into those short-term solutions and things that you might regret in the future, do not lie or delude yourself into thinking that your future partner will automatically just not care about your past. I think that that's something that the world kind of promotes, like, why does it matter about how many bodies I have? Why does it matter how many like, I'm sorry, as a woman, I am not going to get with a guy who has over 5 bodies. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Why? Because I'm gonna be honest, I will be insecure. If you have seen a girl like that in that way, and so many of them, how do I know you're not comparing me to her? How do I know that you truly love me, right? As humans, we're not perfect. We overthink, and me especially, I overthink. And so I think it is a little shallow to think that, you know what, as many people as I get with, the person that loves me and loves me as a whole will love all of me, and we are human. And in general, it is unfair to your future partner that you have seen someone and someone has seen you in such a vulnerable way. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, nor am I saying that if you have slept with someone, you are disgusting or da-da-da-da. I have made so many mistakes in my life, and me telling you this is so that you can learn from my mistakes, okay? I have been hurt in the process of making these mistakes, and I have hurt others in this process. And I think that going back to the whole thing about sociology and psychology and how our social customs or social culture has evolved, and all these data and facts that have been coming out about how marriages collapse and what keeps marriages together. Guys, okay, stop hurting yourself. Okay, I'm just gonna, guys, wait, give me a second. Y'all, we are back in the Bible because we need it. So Matthew 11 verse 28 to 30 says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Now, why I read you that verse is because stop looking for love in humans. Stop looking for love in places that are broken. Stop looking for love partially, okay? If you don't feel full, if you are insecure, if you are hurting, if you are alone, there is a God who loves you and created you and sent his only son down to earth and died on the cross for you. And if you're unable to find love in the world or find love that looks like that, it's not worth it, and nor is it worth your time. You are worth so much more than a quick shag, okay? You are worth so much more than a fling. You are worth so much more than a 2, 3, 4, 5, 7-year relationship that just leaves you in broken pieces. So I'm gonna end that question there. The 12th, last and final question is, what is your comfort food? Now, being Asian means that my comfort food will most likely just be Asian food. And guess what? It is. My mom is from mainland China and my dad is from Hong Kong. And I grew up in Hong Kong, which means a lot of like Guangdong food, right? But my mom is also originally from Anhui, but then we've also gone back to Shanghai a lot because that's where my parents met and where my mom works and where my dad goes to business trip a lot. So it's just a lot of Chinese food pretty much. So I have on my list, yeah, it's a long list, guys, I'm sorry, like dumplings, steamed pork patty, 五花肉, 螺蛳粉, which is like noodles, dim sum, and that's like, I think I crave dim sum quite a lot because back at home after church on Sundays, we would always have dim sum, and so like I just always crave a good siu mai or a good hakao, okay? Or like, what else is there? There's like these turnip cakes that you fry up as well. Oh, They are gorgeous, guys. If you guys have like a chance to get good dim sum, never turn it down. And I also really crave Chinese desserts because recently I've had a sweet tooth, okay? I don't know why. Maybe it's because I've been on a prolonged period, but Chinese desserts hit. Like there's like malaigo or like tangyuan, and they're all like not too sweet. So like they really take on the flavor of the main part of the dessert. For example, if you're to have like a sesame tangyuan, which is like a glutinous rice ball, when you eat it, it gets to your sweet cravings. Like it gets rid of your sweet cravings, but in a way where it's like so delicately crafted, guys. Like you really taste the sesame in it. You really taste the glutinous texture and the flavor and the I don't know, guys. I'm just glazing my culture. But yeah, I think my comfort food is definitely just a bunch of Asian food. Now that I have finished my chai latte and the 12 questions from the Q&A, I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. And if you guys have any further questions or want any clarifications on the answers that I have given, do comment down below and give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you really or like my content. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to see, if you want a future Q&A video or a follow-up video, let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!